What the fuck is happening with relationships when it comes to high-performing men and their wives wanting to leave them? What's breaking down?
One of the biggest things I think is unspoken expectations. Respect is the number one thing. It's our modern day sword and shield. If you take respect away from a man, nothing else matters.
Masculinity at its core is not toxic. It is being there to be of service for your woman.
A lot of women like to think that they're more powerful and capable than they are. Feminism trying to get women equal with men, it's now women better than men. It's one of the dumbest things I've seen.
What are some signs of a lack of respect? And how does a woman start to give a man respect?
If you're sitting down smoking, not going to the gym, getting fat, saying you're going to do stuff and never following through, it's on you that you're not being respected.
What is love?
Love is a byproduct of meeting core feminine and core masculine needs.
How do you become magnetically fucking attractive to your partner?
So,
Clay, women and men right now seem to be more disconnected than ever. Men don't understand women don't understand men. Divorce rates are through the fucking roof. Children are raised in broken homes. There's so much chaos going on right now. What the fuck is happening with relationships when it comes to high-performing men and their wives wanting to leave them? What's breaking down?
one of the biggest things I think is unspoken expectations would definitely have to be one of the things that are most up there. And I think it's misunderstanding each other's needs at the end of the day. A lot of men, high-performing men too, they will communicate really well at work, exactly what they need to create a deal, get it over the line. But when it comes to their partner, they don't speak their full truth. On the back end of that, I think there's a lot of women who have expectations of men in terms of for themselves, this is what I need, but they have no idea what their man wants. And that's a massive problem. I think every man, just about every man under the sun knows what a woman wants and needs. We all know that they want to be protected, to be provided for, to be loved, cared for, respected. But I don't know very many women that could very confidently step up and say, I know exactly what a man wants, outside of saying the stereotypical bullshit of sex.
Yeah, well, we do want sex, but it's not something that we want. It's something that should naturally happen in a healthy relationship. And this is going to trigger a lot of people, this podcast, because we're going to go fucking deep. You are one of Australia's leading relationship experts. You've written a 200-page book. You have so many principles and frameworks to break down today. What don't women understand about men? What do men want and need? If a woman's listening to this right now, like, what does a man want?
I often say for women, number one value for you, irrespective of who you are, if you're a woman, it's safety. Safety first. Women would very, very often agree. Without safety, significance, variety, reverence, all that falls to the wayside. If you take away safety, nothing matters. They'll always be trying to pry back to safety. And I often say, what's the opposite of that for men? Like, what's men's number one core need, core masculine need? They don't often know what it is. And I often, there's a lot of things it could be, but at the end of the day, it's respect. I think if you take respect away from a man, nothing else matters. We can create our own sense of safety, unlike women who are somewhat dependent on men for protection and safety, or are at the mercy of men if ever they're in a situation. A man's a more powerful, larger, capable being in that aspect. It's not a comfortable truth, but it is the reality of things. But for men, it's respect. And I think that's where so many women are going wrong, is they don't know how to respect their man, and they treat respect as a conditional thing. They think he can earn my respect, which is one of the most bullshit things, because if you can imagine flipping it on its head, where if we said to a woman, you can earn your safety, there would be a fucking uproar. But respect is the number one thing. It's our modern day sword and shield. It's our love language. It's how we know we're recognized and appreciated for what we do for them and all the sacrifices that we willingly make and want to make, but we don't want to make it to an ungrateful partner. So with respect, we can almost endure anything. If we know a woman loves and respects us, we're fine. Without it, little fucking else matters.
I want to dive into respect in a second. Before I do, I want to launch a very viral hook here. Most women have no fucking idea what they actually want. They say they want a strong, confident, wealthy, successful man. But then when men say things like, it's my job to protect my wife, it's my job to provide, it's my job to create safety, people in the comments that will happen right now in this clip say shit like, that's not fair, you're being toxic with your masculinity. Masculinity at its core is not toxic. It is being there to be of service for your woman. And I get so much hate on the internet these days when I say it's my job to protect my wife. If she wants to work, she can, but she never has to. She can be a mother full time. That is her number one gift to our children. That triggers so many women and feminists. I'm not saying she can't be a hardworking businesswoman. What I'm saying is she has choice. That is my role of service, and I will sacrifice everything for my wife. Why do so many women out there struggle with this concept? Why is it bad or controversial to say that out loud?
Oh, you could say a million reasons why, but I think a lot of women like to think that they're more powerful and capable than they are. Is at the end of the day. There was a whole thing about equal rights fucking decades ago. And of like no man in the right mind is going to sit there and say men deserve more than women. Like we all agree in equal rights. That's unequivocal. It's obvious. It's redundant almost. There's no, in Australia at least, there's no lack of rights for women. There's nothing that a woman doesn't have that a man does. But somehow, at least in the space that I've seen and the women that I've spoken about it who have this problem, they seem to equate any form of masculine empowerment or white man empowerment in particular with bad, evil, or a less than for women. Somehow by me and you being better and happier and protectors and providers, it's a loss to them. And they just take it as this massive personal thing. They've gone ahead and flipped the script. Like instead of feminism trying to get women equal with men, it's now women better than men. It's one of the dumbest things I've seen. I often see coupled with it is this mind virus of women going, you're misogynistic the moment you mention I have a standard, which might be, I want my woman to be more feminine and demure in nature, more conservative in nature, and not parade her body to the world for other men to gawk at. That's not misogynistic, but it will get called that. The reality is it's a standard that I have for me and my partner, and if she doesn't want to adhere to it, I'm never going to sit there and fucking make her do it. I'm going to say, hey, it's important to me. This matters to me, and I value it. And if you don't want to respect my values, then we're incompatible. Goodbye. Respectfully, lovingly, goodbye. It's obviously on me to communicate that from the get-go, but again, most men do.
And do it respectfully. That's the key here. You're not telling your wife or partner, you're wrong, you don't meet my standards, therefore I'm going to divorce you. You're having a respectful conversation about 100%. This is important to me, these are my values, and that's what a healthy relationship looks like.
Exactly.
I want to take it a step further. Let's say you're in a marriage, and this happens to a lot of men and women, and the person you marry is healthy, is fit, has got their shit together to some degree. Then kids come along. You might get busy with work or children or the weekends. And before you know it, either of you, the man or the woman, has put on a bunch of weight. You're more stressed. You stop having sex. You stop giving your partner that respect. You stop connecting with them. That's a standard that we drop. In those situations, what do you recommend for men and women to do with their partner to respectfully say? Because I've thought about this a lot with Rosie. Like if Rosie got really, really big and overweight and fat, and this will trigger a lot of people, I wouldn't be okay with that. Now, let me quickly lay a point here.
Me either too.
It's not that I would say, you're fat, you're ugly. I'd say, hey, babe, like, remember how health is one of our values. I care about you, and our daughter gets to have a great example. And I'd frame it better than this. But I'd have a respectful conversation and try to hold her to a higher standard without forcing her.
You would create a safe and loving space, which is a critical thing in all relationships.
Yes.
To create a safe and loving space, harden something that matters to me. Again, respect, values for men, like women, is safety to women. If we stopped creating safety, which men do, we work with a lot of men. We educate them on how to create safety in a relationship so the partner can open up. If we revoked safety for our woman, absolutely she's going to say something, or if she doesn't, she's going to very quickly leave. So when you first off consider the fact, safety is as important to a woman as what's respect is to a man, we're allowed to bring this shit up, and in fact, it's the right thing to bring it up. If we just left, that's the equivalent to a woman just leaving without safety, which again, everyone can understand when it's a woman. When a man does it, it's a very different story. Why? Because men, women are oppressed. It's this bullshit age-old story that certain people like to hold on to because they hold a victim mentality around everything. And if it wasn't this, it would be something else. How I would bring that up, it's probably similar to you. I would sit down and just lovingly create a really nice space. I'd make sure that I've got my shit together first off. Has the last 2-3 weeks been good on my part? Have I been showing up? Cool. The relationship equity's up there, right? We're not running on empty, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring up a fucking bomb as well. Whereas if the relationship equity's good, our needs, our values around health, if we tolerate that for long enough, we devalue too, or we drop and diminish in energy and capacity and appreciation, she'll then feel that, she'll then give us less back, and as a result, we get less and even more impressed and happy and grateful and attracted to and it's a downward spiral. So I think it's critical to bring it up. It's fair to bring it up. Like
do it respectfully and in a level playing field.
Yeah,
Yep.
level playing field. Make sure the relationship equity is there. And I would just sit down and say, hey, hon, I've got something important that to me that I really want to talk about. Important to us, but more so for me. Is now a good time for you to chat, or do you want to have this conversation later? It's a safe space conversation where, emotions might get high. But for me, it's important, and I'm ready when you are, but it does need to be had.
Yes.
And then have that conversation lovingly.
If you're getting value from this podcast episode, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. It allows us to reach more men, to keep more families together, and to give you more value with the guests that we get on board. So please do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon so we can give you even more value. Yeah, because a lot of what I hear from men is my partner's let herself go, but I also hear it from women. My husband has let himself go. And there's this whole thing around through sickness and health, you should be with your partner regardless. Well, if your partner starts smoking meth, like there's a standard that gets to be upheld. So I understand both sides of the story. I remember when I was really depressed when Talia was born, Rosie was my cheerleader. She was there for me until she wasn't. It took about 6 months of me not having my shit together for her to just lose her shit and go, I can't do this anymore. How do you balance patience and understanding and empathy when you know your partner is stressed or has let themselves go, with also holding them to a higher standard?
This is where honesty is so big and powerful, which most people run away from. If you can't be honest in a relationship and acknowledge where things are really at, like do a health check, you're kind of flying blind, right? Like most men can tolerate information, understanding shit if it was just given to us respectfully and safely. Hey, I understand you're going through a tough period right now. I just need you to know that I'm holding up the fort here. I love you. I'm here for you. And if I start to waver and I can't give to you the way that you need, I know we'll both be fucked. So I'm going to let you know that if I'm wearing thin here. A simple, healthy conversation, but that requires both parties to be able to be receptive to the truth, right? If you can't say to your partner lovingly and her securely know you still love her, saying, hey, you're putting on a bit of weight, love you, but gosh, there's going to be quite a bit more to love. Like, can we have a conversation about this? Because I it's really important to me, it, and it is affecting me. If you can't have that conversation because you're afraid of her flying off the fucking handle, or for a woman's sake, if you can't go to your husband, hey, like I'm losing attraction to you because you're not showing up the way you used to, you're being a lesser version of yourself, it's not really attractive, then again, the woman's in a way shackled, as the man would be in the reverse situation. So truth and communication for me, whenever I work with a couple, is like two of the major things I talk about in the beginning: how to get right and how to communicate it in a way that's actually useful. And if you do get offended, like fuck, you can. They're sensitive topics, particularly for women and weight. But just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. Like you don't get to sit there and attack your husband because he's losing attraction to you because you are putting on weight. So many women will say that's wrong. It's mother of your children. Yes, that's why there's empathy. That's why there's a healthy conversation. That's why there is patience. Yes. There's a balance that's different for everyone. But I think always, man or woman, you've got to stop first and go, where am I at in things here? Like, could I be doing more? Can I take the reins here for a while? And if so, fucking communicate it after a while. Let them know, hey, I'm putting in more here. I'm not saying it for any other reason, to let you know that this is a period where we're out of balance and I've got us. Yes. Please just be mindful so that 8 months' time from now, I'm not still holding the fort, because I can only do it for so long, lovingly, before we both spiral. Yes. And the key there is self-assessment. So if you are, stressed out, work too much, don't understand your partner, can't empathize with her, and then you start dropping these sorts of conversations, yes, you're speaking your truth, but you're speaking your truth as a hypocrite. Yeah. So look in the mirror first, right? 100%. And when it comes to relationships, I've noticed a lot of couples, over time, they begin to separate, not just in terms of divorce, they separate in terms of connection. If you think about train tracks, as soon as they diverge, it derails. Love that analogy. I find my wife the most attractive woman on the planet. I've been with her for 9 years. Like, she can meet so many of my needs. But I feel like that's not because of how she looks. It's because she deeply respects me and she is my partner. You mentioned respect earlier and how women don't know how to give it to men. What are some signs of a lack of respect? And how does a woman start to give a man respect? See, here's an interesting thing. I work with more women than men now in terms of relationships. And women really struggle at the idea of respecting a man regardless of conditions. Obviously, you've to some degree as a man got to be worthy of respect. If you're sitting down smoking, not going to the gym, getting fat, eating shitty food, saying you're going to do stuff and never following through, it's on you that you're not being respected. I think it's very warranted and you should be, well, yeah, you've got to tolerate it in a way. You don't deserve much else if that's your default norm. But if a man's doing the work, he's sticking to his word, he's showing up, he's trying, there is absolutely no reason that a woman should not be absolutely showing him respect in the form of lifting him up in public, only saying good about him, and not tearing him down and joking about him and his reputations or his actions or his lack of, like most women do.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
I was at a lunch with a couple. I just met them. My wife's next to me. There's this couple there, and the lady says, "What do you do for work?" And I say, "I help men fix their marriage." Her husband's right next to her, and she goes, "We need that." You can see his face instantly drop. Then she goes on the offensive and says, "Yeah, we've got a lot of problems. He doesn't do this. He does this. He does this wrong." I didn't say anything. My wife didn't even realize. And on the drive home, I said to Rosie, "Please, babe, don't ever speak to me like she spoke to him right then." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Praise in public, criticize in private." That man was so fucking embarrassed. He probably hates me right now, even though I've done nothing wrong, because his wife didn't have the emotional awareness to actually keep her shit behind closed doors and work through it. Why do women do that? And why do men do that as well?
I think women like to consider themselves the more emotionally intelligent sex. I don't think that's the case at all. I think men probably struggle to express it. Women struggle to contain it and direct it. I think something like that is a perfect example of how men get shamed or made wrong by the partner in public. And it's belittling. It's childlike. It's like you feel like you're a child again, being like told you've done something wrong and screamed at by mum or dad. It's just not an attractive trait. Men don't like it. Men don't want it. It doesn't serve the couple as well. Like the image has a fucking image, right? Like the relationship has an image, right? As a couple, you want to go out and look strong. You want to be respected. You want to be acknowledged. People do or don't want to do business with you based off how you look as a couple at times as well. Like it says a lot about you. And to have that as your first point of call, like as a couple, like, oh, we're in trouble and he this and he that. It's like, fucking hell, that's what you're saying in public. What are you saying to him behind closed doors?
Yeah.
It's the man, something women have got to recognize. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts around this. It's a fact. Any man worth their weight will happily die for their partner. Someone comes in, breaks in the house at night, we're down an alleyway, men come out of the shadows. Every man is stepping forward. If not, they're not a fucking man. Run with the kids, go, I got this, I'm going to protect you. That deserves a certain level of love and respect. You have someone that's going to fucking die for you at all given points in time at the drop of a hat. If that doesn't get met with some form of like reciprocity as a result, you don't deserve the man, I think. It's a very grossly underappreciated and underrecognized thing by society nowadays that men don't have to have this masculine macho role and be this protector and provider. No, we do. We need a purpose. We take that on as a purpose. We very much are creatures of, we're territorial creatures. We're creatures of pride. We want to be proud about our woman. We want to protect and make our woman ours, our family's ours. And that just gets demonized by, I'll just say it, like far woke, left, liberal people who think that the structure of things and the nature of things doesn't need to be the way that it always was. It's still very much there and an underlying thing. It's still, the world is ran off masculinity. The world is the way it is because of men. The masculine provision is what has helped the world become the way it is. If you rip that away, the world very quickly will fall on its face.
Yeah, and that's controversial these days, but it's just facts. And we're not saying that women are lesser. We're not saying that the woman can't have choice. We're saying that there's a foundational principle here, which is masculine and feminine energy. Before we touch back on respect, something every woman must do for her man, I feel, is actually praise them in public. When was the last time your wife or partner said to you, "I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I can see how hard you're working. Hey, honey, your father, everything we have is because of him." They might think it, but they never say it.
Yeah.
Is that what respect is? Like, how do you give respect to a man? What can a woman do to give a man respect?
I would say that's a key unlocker. Like a form of respect is recognition.
Yes.
Absolutely. Give recognition. Recognition, appreciation, kind of the same umbrella.
And it sounds simple, recognize and appreciate. But if you break it down, what does that actually mean? Like, step one, do this. Step two, because you say these words.
Yeah.
But then like, oh, I do appreciate him. Well, when do you tell him?
Yeah.
So like, how do you do that?
The structure of giving and showing appreciation to your man, it looks like acknowledging what he does. So the littlest things, a little bit goes a long way. So if he makes a sacrifice, oh, here, you have the last one of these, honey. Look him in the eyes and say, thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't say, no, you have it. Oh, no, I'll feel guilty, because I see sometimes women, I feel guilty now. You've given it to me. Appreciate it. Like, we know that we want to serve you. Man, like all this shit men want to do, like it's a man's world, but it's built for women. Yeah. And we would never want to fucking change it. Like as important it is for us men to get recognition and appreciation, we just want to give it back, but we need something to be given to give away. And all we need is some recognition in the form of, hey, I really appreciate you doing that. I love how much you put into work for us, as a family. I love the fact that you made time in a busy Saturday because we've got these sports games and this to do and that to still mow the lawn so the kids have a yard to play in. Hey, I know you really don't fucking like your job. Most men work jobs out of the mines, for example. I know plenty that hate being there, but it earns them $200,000 a year for their family. They're away 6 to 7 months of the year for their family. Whenever do they get you do so much for us?
They get
Thank you.
Ripped to shreds.
Yeah, they come home and get yelled at because they haven't fucking mowed the lawn. Or
the toilet seat's up.
Oh my God. I feel for the man that gets abused for doing something like leaving the toilet seat up after coming back from a 6-7 day shift at the mines. It's absolute entitlement. And like, I don't like to say there's a dark side to, actually no, there is a dark side to our nature. And for women, that's a very dark side and place for them to go, where they tear their man down for stupid little shit that they should be grateful to have. Like, that's a privilege that she has that beautiful nice home for him to leave the toilet seat up in. Like, she should be, oh yeah, how nice that I've got a husband to fucking have to worry about this shit for. Yeah. Like, recognition and appreciation and reframing something to look at it in a way that actually serves you instead of causes you to look at the world through a negative lens will save your marriage. That thing alone, if women could learn how to praise their man and look at things with a grateful lens instead of a ungrateful one, and of course men too, it's a reciprocal thing, we'd be out of a job.
Yeah. But it is a balancing act, right? So what we're not saying here is if you're a woman listening or you're a man and you want to share this with your partner, praise your man for everything and don't hold him to a higher standard. A great example this weekend, actually, I just wanted to rest and Rosie needed a lot of help. So I cleaned the entire house. I was picking up the groceries. I was looking after the kids. I was supporting as much as I could. And I was stressed and triggered. She could see it, but she didn't say anything. And then once the kids were down last night, she sat me down on the couch. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Thank you so much for all your help today." And then she said, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Nothing." She's like, "I'm going to give you a blowjob." Now, honestly, I'm very vulnerable with this sort of stuff. Like, every man wants that. My wife to tell me, "I see you, I appreciate you." All the trigger went away. And then she met one of my needs sexually because she wanted to. And I went to bed. I'm like, I love this woman so much. Yeah. But guess what? Tomorrow or the next day, if I don't show up the same way or if I'm being an asshole, I expect her to hold me to a higher standard, not out of nagging, but out of feedback. So can you explain the difference between what most of us do, men and women, we nag and we point out the flaws versus constructive feedback? How does that dynamic work in a relationship?
I think the big difference between nagging and constructive feedback is your intent, right? Like, are you just trying to complain or are you trying to actually do something about it? I think it's pretty easy if you've got a problem. There's a saying, actually, this is going to be in my book. If it's true today, it'll be true tomorrow. If you're triggered by something, when you're triggered is not the fucking time to bring it up. Like, if us men get triggered with each other and we start talking about shit, things get heated quick. The fact that it's our partner, that our nature's tempered, but still we're going to go with firmness or some level of anger in our voice or hurt or upset, and vice versa with women. So if there's a genuine problem that you've been triggered by and it's the first fucking time, and if you look at circumstance and context for starters, and there's not a lot of this other stuff going on, it's a one-off. Love them through it. It's a mistake. If it's a pattern and it's a genuine problem for you or it's an unmet need, absolutely bring it up. Your partner wants you to bring it up. They want to know about it, because if you leave this need unmet for long enough, you withdraw more and the relationship suffers. So understand that it's important to bring it up in the right time. Give it a day after you've slept, try to connect with each other, rebond, And if you can do that, that's the time to then bring it up and say, hey, hon, can I address something important to me about you from the other day? Or, hey, small thing, nothing huge, but if you got time to talk about it now, I would love to. Otherwise, I don't know, tomorrow in bed, whatever works for you. And just say, hey, you did this, and I know, and always assume positive intent. I know you love me, and I know you didn't mean it this way. It's just when you did X, for me, it felt a bit rough, or I didn't know how to take it. So I've just left it and slept on it, and it's still kind of, I think I need some closure on it. Can you just speak to that for me? Do it when you're happy, do it with loving intent. If they blow up about it in that moment, it's unfair on you. That's not right. That shouldn't happen. Maybe walk away, and then they'll come back to you and be like, hey, I'm sorry. This is it. Don't
respond or react.
Yeah. If there's triggered emotions, you're fucking triggered. Your brain chemistry and hormone structure has literally gone from rest and digest and a parasympathetic state and just clicked into survival mode and is looking to fight or defend or to run. And just to understand, like, nothing constructive is going to happen in that moment.
Yeah.
Don't run away and say, we'll talk later, but do just say, hey, I'm really fucking triggered and I don't want to be a dick to you. Yeah. I love you too much to probably be disrespectful at some point and say something I don't want to say. So can you give me 10 minutes? It takes a lot of
courage to do that, bro. Like, it takes a lot of awareness and emotional intelligence. I've got a saying, when you feel attacked or when someone feels attacked, they will defend, even if they know you're 100% right.
Yeah.
So the way you deliver that feedback, your tonality, your energy, your intent is so important. I found I can give men, and you've probably experienced this, the exact framework on how to have a clearing conversation.
Yeah.
But some men are terrified of having a conversation in the way that you just shared. What causes that fear and doubt for a man to have these sorts of conversations?
The really simple answer is unresolved shit from the past, or like really unhealthy expectations because of the past again. It's where with what I do, I like tend to run real deep and clear the unresolved crap or the like wrong interpretations of something. Like a lot of men, like language is different for every person. We all know the word love and it's very similar, but it's all slightly different too. It's the same reason why we can all look at a piece of artwork and some of us see, you know, $1 million painting, while others see something our children could have drawn in the space of 30 minutes. And so perception's a huge thing. And if our perception on confrontation is unhealthy, because as a kid we weren't given room to breathe and talk and have needs, like a lot of women I work with, most of the time they were made wrong for having needs, and love was conditional. Same for men, but it's a very common thing for women. And so in working with them, I have to get them healthy with the idea of being okay to have needs, to speak up, and to not leave it to the last like slither of patience before they blow up and they want to destroy everything and tear the relationship down. And the guy is going, what the hell happened?
Where did this come from?
Yeah. And she's, you this, you that, you never meet my needs, I don't feel safe, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I thought you were so happy because you never communicated, because she avoids communication because she's an avoidant, understandably given her past. Men tend to take the back seat and become like the go-lucky, you know, whatever you say, honey, husband, and let them take the reign. And in doing so, literally destroy polarity. She gradually loses attraction to him as he never gives her an answer and never has an opinion as to not upset her, because he's so fucking worried about upsetting her instead of trying to love her. And people forget love requires effort, it requires discomfort, it requires healthy confrontation. But in avoiding it, they fuck up the relationship and they go through that death by 1,000 cuts process. So I think some men can do it easy. They give them structure and strategy. Awesome, I can see how this will work. Other men, you give them structure and strategy and they see, fuck, this requires me talking. Some could be afraid of getting angry. Some could be afraid of getting abandoned or not loved, or having needs equals being needy. It's just, and it could just be more education too. Unfortunately, that's a bit of a more unique process, or it's a contained process where you need to have these men in a group to chat to them and talk to their individual points. But overall, if this could get through to them, I would say if there's any form of like resistance or discomfort around having these must-have conversations with a partner, you need to fucking figure it out. Yep. You have to. The quality of your relationship in your fucking life is dependent on your ability to be able to have tough conversations. If you can't have them, you are doomed to some capped level of success, not just in your relationship, but every area of life as well.
Yeah, because you're avoiding the shit that gets to be done. There's now pain and later pain. So the now pain is go for a run or go to the gym or eat well. The later pain is a heart attack. The now pain is have a difficult conversation with your wife. When you can see she's upset, the later pain is she takes the fucking kids.
Exactly.
And so many men sweep this shit under the rug, hoping for the problems to go away. You don't do that in your business. So why the fuck do we do it at home? Because we're avoiding these emotions and the discomfort of having hard conversations.
That's a beautiful correlation. If men can realize, it's probably a bit of, this is definitely a crude analogy, but your relationship, like your business, has a reputation, has a level of equity within it, which depletes over time if you don't do the right things. If you're not picking up the phone, making calls, having those tough conversations, closing deals, figuring out T's and C's, the business fucking crumbles. So too does the relationship. Either way, there's these two constants in life I refer to a lot. There's pain and change. Pain is always going to happen, like it or not, as you've alluded to. It's just whether it's on your terms or whether it's on life's terms later by surprise, fucking via a blind spot of some sort. Have the tough conversation now. It is going to be uncomfortable, perhaps. The more you do it, the easier it gets until it gets to the point where you go, hey, hun, this matters to me. And it's fucking easy. But it requires repetition to get there. And if you need like some help to get there, training wheels, because you were never taught this shit, or in fact, you weren't taught it, but you have a backlog of other shit from your past and mum and dad and previous relationships, fair enough. You're still responsible for it though. Just because you've got excuses, really good ones, doesn't excuse the fact that you're still going to have these outcomes that you need to sort out and deal with. So just figure out a way for you to do something about it. Like, it's a fucking must. You have to do something about it.
Yeah, we had on our fridge for years, hard conversations, easy life, easy conversations, hard life. And my wife would walk past that fridge every day and go, don't get it. But then when we used to get into arguments, she'd want to go to sleep without resolving them. And I made it a rule. We don't go to bed angry. We don't go to bed without resolving it. And dude, we'd sit there staring at opposite directions for hours. And I just made a point, we have to resolve this. And we'd resolve it. And then guess what? The next week, another argument. But it wasn't about the same shit.
Yeah.
I believe that arguments and collision are necessary in a relationship. Different upbringings, beliefs, morals, values. But having the same arguments and same collision, that's a massive fucking problem. So have those hard conversations.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned love. I thought love was providing for my wife. And then she goes, you're never home. What is love? Like you've mentioned before in podcasts, love is a verb, noun. Explain, what is love?
I've got an interesting view on love where I think love is a byproduct of meeting core feminine and core masculine needs. So that what everyone refers to as love in Hollywood movies, that first love at first sight thing, I call that infatuation. In fact, it's not just me. A lot of other relationship experts, John Gottman talks about this. Love is a byproduct of getting certain core human needs met, which when met, creates a certain hormonal structure throughout a body that makes us fall deeply in love. It's how, over time, women fall out of love. They were never in love, they were infatuated to begin with, which gave them some basic level of love, which only diminishes from there because their needs, as well met as they were in the beginning or not, doesn't matter, only get less and less met over time, so they fall more and more out of love. And then when we help men do the right thing, begin to meet their needs again, well, magically they start falling in love again, attraction goes up. So love is a byproduct of doing certain things such as safety, significance, variety. You provide those three needs alone for a woman and she'll be head over heels in love with you. She's got the significance, she's got the security. Safety isn't necessarily just the absence of danger, it's also the presence of consistency. So she's got that consistency. And then you're providing variety on top of it all with new things, date nights, surprises. You're mixing it up, you're constantly growing and evolving as a human, so she's got something to stimulate her. That's a healthy relationship, and that allows you to feel love. You take variety away, we were talking about this earlier, for example, and just suffocate her with significance and safety, she'll get bored out of her brain. Why does love die when there's safety and significance? Why does a woman start looking elsewhere? I have so many women message me saying that they love their husband, but after somewhere between 10 to 20 years, attraction dies off. There's a pattern. Every single one of them has said, yeah, they're really, really nice guys. I'm definitely not ever unsafe, but I'm bored. And I go, tell me about the guys you're finding yourself attracted to. Good women. I don't get me wrong. I'm the first to point out someone's bullshit. Beautiful, loyal women, have kids. They want to do the right thing, but they're saying, Clay, my nervous system is fucking pulling me. And I get it. I've been there as a man. Most of us have. And it's these men that they're finding themselves attracted to are bad boys, or they're just guys that are crushing in a business and they're constantly dealing with clients and they're seeing them in their element of power, closing deals, crushing it. They don't know what else is going on with them. So there's all this like mystery, surprise, change, stimulus. And I go, does it make sense that you're attracted to them when you consider that you have this innate need built within you that's forcing you to look for it? And if you don't get it met here, you'll meet it somewhere else. They go, fuck, that brings a lot of clarity and closure. So I just need to create variety in my relationship again with him.
Is it her responsibility to do that or the man?
It's the man.
Yeah, because I
it's
can
also,
see...
she needs to communicate it, but overall, the man, we need to do this, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're listening right now and you know that your relationship's stale or boring or the same shit, different day, Groundhog Day, as a man, take note of this. But if you're a woman listening to this right now, communicate it with your man.
Yeah.
And I can understand why we fall into this trap. I've got 2 young kids. Most of my clients are business owners. It's not intentional. You know, at the beginning, you don't have kids. You're not working as much.
It's easy.
So much time and energy. And then guess what? You start getting stuck in that grind. And before you know it, 10 years have gone by. It's not intentional.
No.
How can a man who's busy, stressed, trying to fucking carry all this weight, add the variety into his life when he's already carrying everything else?
Yeah, juggle something else now, right?
Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's not easy.
Structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Men thrive off structure. In fact, anything thrives off structure. Creativity, the most elusive thing, thrives off structure. If we simply just automate it to some degree, or even invest half a day to sit down and go, what's some fun shit I can do over the next 12 months, and then just book some stuff in your calendar. Yep. You know, these dates, find a wine, like a paint and sip night, a kayaking morning, something like a play. I've got a gentleman, like 2 clients, one of them with his partner. I said, go take her to a play. Like, there's a few good plays in Sydney. He was like, she would hate that. He's like, I hate that. Like, exactly. Go. You can hate it together. I actually did it. He said, mate, we had the best time. It was so fun. We really enjoyed the play. We've never enjoyed things like that before. It was just a new and exciting and exhilarating experience. So just try new things and automate it. It is definitely something more to juggle, 100%, but it's more pain, like this much in comparison to what could be, you know, what could happen not doing it. It's worth doing. The easiest thing I can do is just figure out a way that works for you to do it. Structure it, put it in place. Doesn't have to be big and crazy either. Just dinner here and there, or preparing dinner at home together and then packing it in a picnic basket and going to eat on the beach or in a park. Get mum and dad to look after the kids while you two just have a night at home watching movies on the couch. It doesn't have to be some big grand thing, but it does have to be something different and nice and a form of variety.
If you want to actually take this framework that I shared and apply it to your life, it's part of our Empowered Man Armory and our app that we've spent almost 250 grand on. If you want access to a powerful system where you can use this reframe system I just shared with you every single day, then find me on Instagram at Tony Empowered Man, TonyEmpoweredMan. I'll put the link down below as well. Send me a DM saying reframe, and I'll give you this exact framework as well as early access to the Empowered Man app when it launches. Yeah, and you just hit the nail on the head with your examples. It's about how can I make it work? So I hear from a lot of guys, yeah, but I can't because of the kids or because of work or because of this. And it's like, dude, yes, those are all good reasons, but figure out how you can make it happen despite those things.
Yeah.
Get a babysitter. I can't find a good one. Have you fucking tried? You know, like, make the effort. If men took 5% of the effort they put into business and poured it into their partner, dude, it's game over. But it is a two-way street. Now, you mentioned play. Play is a very interesting thing that very few men do. Like, we're serious, we're go, 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 we're masculine, right? What does play mean for men and women in a relationship, and how important is it?
I think it's different, right? But for every man. But for me, it's just have some fucking fun and a bit of a laugh. The whole stoic, James Bond, serious thing is attractive. But even after a while, that gets old. Like, I've heard of men referencing, you know, very high individual celebrities, like, do these rules apply to them? And I say, absolutely. Like Channing Tatum, Johnny Depp, like, all these men that have wealth, fame, power have had divorce instigated against them. And it's because they let their core human needs die off. They either didn't play when they're at home and have fun with them, they didn't create variety. And how easy is it for fucking them to create variety, right? If they can fuck this up, how easy is it for us to fuck up? So we need to be on a game.
Yeah.
But to come full circle back to play, I don't think I have a blanket rule for that. I just think have a laugh. Laughter is important.
Yeah.
Stop being so serious. There's nothing attractive about you coming home serious and stern and stoic all the time.
Yeah.
She wants some fun. And don't try to be something you're not. Just be like, if you're a bit fucking awkward and queer in your like humor or dark, do it. And if she doesn't like it, fucking keep doing it until she gets used to it. She'll adapt and she'll be able to find the humor in it. Just that even breaks it up somehow. She doesn't necessarily like your humor, but you're being yourself. It's your energy that she'll fall in love with, not necessarily the joke.
Exactly.
And it's just a different energy that you're bringing in.
Bring the energy of fun. Yeah. And actually have a laugh. Like, it's so true. When was the last time a lot of men listening just manically laughed with their partner over something stupid? We're watching a show on the weekend. What was it called? 9 Perfect Strangers. And it's basically, I don't want to ruin it for everyone, a spoiler, but there's this dude on magic mushrooms and he's running around with this sign and he thinks it's a map. Anyway, it's a stupid thing, but we could not stop laughing. And I teach this shit and I'm sitting there going, fuck, that's the first time Rosie and I laughed in like a month. That's a problem. So just having that awareness of like, when was the last time you laughed and had fun together? That's really fucking important, right?
Yeah, 100%. Grab her in the kitchen while you're cooking dinner together and dance with her, spin her around, dip her. Again, you don't have to be the world's biggest romantic. Just have some fun. You might fucking drop her and catch her on the way down. How funny and hilarious is that?
Yeah. What happens if you're doing these things? So like, you want to have more fun, you want to bring things up, you want to take ownership. A lot of women resist. And maybe it's a self-defense mechanism because it's been 10, 20 years of not doing that. They get frustrated. They go, don't do that, or I don't want that. In those moments, what can you do as a man to get her on side? Like, this is a different way of being.
This saying requires context. For here it matters. But persistence beats resistance. Be patient. Be loving. Women will, there's an old saying, women will test you. People say that in a bit of a shitty way, like women are always fucking trying to test you. There's a lot of pickup artists out there who will say, she's going to test you to this and make sure that, you know, you're a fucking man. Look, there's partial truth to it. The reason women test you is they want to make sure the version of you that's showing up, different to what she's familiar with, is real and it's going to stick around. Because a new version of you that maybe wants to take more control and ownership and leadership means less for her. You can't both have the same amount. And in taking that back, that potentially puts her at risk of less safety. So she needs to know, can I believe this? Is this real? Is this going to be a one-off, which a lot of us are probably guilty of having done in the past? I'm going to show up and I do all this stuff and we do it for a little while and then it changes and then she's more pissed. So we've probably got some backlogged crap to deal with to begin with. She's got some resistance and hesitancy, probably from a previous pool of men that she's dealt with or a shitty father. There's a number of reasons why it's important to be patient. But even more important than all of that is that you just need to be persistent and allow some time to get used to this newer version of you who's trying and showing up and not give up after 2 months. Because 2 months feels like a fucking long time when you've got business, kids, her sex life has died down, she's not showing up for you the way that you need, and you genuinely need her to show up and she should. But given the context and circumstance of things, she isn't. So you're pouring even more than usual and you're going, fuck, when does this end? When do I get rewarded and recognized our core need that we're going without and respected for all this that I'm doing? It can feel like a lot and it fucking is. But 2 or 3 months more of it tops. If you are actually showing up and you're being loving and caring and meeting your needs as best as you can in other healthy ways, a threshold is tipped, like a crossed. The scales tip and she starts to go, okay, this is him, he's showing up. And she'll give a little laugh one day. And when she does, that's the crack. You just go like tease her, have fun with her and say, hey, there she is. Come here. I appreciate that. I love you. I hope you know that this is all for you and I care. I know, it's just you this. And then you'll be like, I know, honey. Validate her experience. It's probably fucking very real. And on the back of that, keep showing up. And eventually she'll happily embrace a new version of you.
Yeah, consistency is key. My wife and I, about 4 years ago, we were on the brink of divorce. We weren't having sex. I didn't feel respected or appreciated. She didn't feel understood. Things were going downhill fast. And I started trying to fix it. I tried to be more fun and playful. I was working less and I wasn't seeing any change from her. And I heard this quote that changed my life. It was, your partner has a perception or story of who you are. So I didn't realize, but her story was, he's always stressed, he drinks too much, he's not fun anymore, he's way too serious. And I tried to change for a month, but we had years of that previous story. And it took about 4 to 5 months of me showing her this new version of myself without getting anything in return. But there was a tipping point or a crack where her perception changed and she began to believe this new version of me. Guess what happened? More sex, more connection, more respect. So I think for a lot of men, we want to work on ourselves. We listen to a podcast like this and then we go, why is she not giving me anything? Bro, how many years have you not been the man you're trying to be now? Be patient, be consistent. Her perception of you is clearly not where you want it to be. So become the man she has a story around that she loves, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And if it's truly who you are, it's not actually going to take that much effort to show up because it's who you are.
Yeah.
And when you're convinced it's who you are, she will be too.
Yes.
That's typically the threshold too. And it's very telling that you said, it was around the 4 or 5 month mark. That's what it is. It's just between 4 to 6 months to recondition our nervous system that has grown physiologically to have certain neural pathways, like physically. But a lot of men don't understand, like a habit and a perception is something physically that we can touch. It's our body conditioned to be a certain way. And then when reality shows up different to what we're used to or how we perceive it, our nervous system often actually goes threat. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, because our reality now is different to how we're used to it being. And our nervous system thinks it's change or things being different in the outside world as a potential threat. So if anything, she might even get worse. She might test you more.
Yep. Because she doesn't believe you yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you just push through that magical 4 to 6 month window, tops, of actually showing up and being this real version, not a gimmick, because that's another thing too. Don't even try if it's a gimmick. If in your mind you're thinking you're going to do this to win her over, don't be naive enough to think a woman's intuition isn't that good where she can tell. She might not consciously know, but subconsciously her nervous system can tell whether something's real or not.
Yep.
And she will still test you. Not to be a dick, but to actually see, is it really safe? Is this real? And when she magically sees that number of times, that amount of energy that you bring over enough period of time, she'll believe it and she'll love you again, and it becomes fucking easy. After that 6 month period, how worth it did it feel? That one good day.
So, and it's been like that ever since, man. Like we haven't had an argument in 2 years. We had one.
There you go.
And it feels so effortless when your relationship's on fire in a good way. Business is easier. Life's easier. Like how many times have you had an issue in your relationship and it happens the night before or that morning and you carry it through the entire day? It's like carrying fucking 17 briefcases of lead.
Yeah.
It's heavy, but a great relationship is light. And knowing what it feels like to have a heavy relationship and a phenomenal one, I don't even know how I lived with the heavy relationship, but most men live that way, right?
Every day. For
Every
years.
fucking day.
How I could imagine you could probably measurably see how much better your business improved.
Oh, dude, we went from 50K a month to 500. Like, it's not just because of that, but it became easier, you know? How do you become attractive to your woman? As a man, like we want to also be desired. For me, that's important.
Yeah.
How do you become magnetically fucking attractive to your partner?
So that's an interesting one. I think all men, right? We all want to be revered in some form by our partner. We want to be looked up, respected, admired.
Yep. The leader.
Yeah. And when a woman actually we feel attractive to a partner, again, that lights a fire under us. And if we don't feel like we're attractive to our partner, it opens up a gateway for men to end up finding that reverence and recognition and respect elsewhere. So how do we become magnetic and attractive to our partner? I think there's probably a million ways I could answer this, but this is probably a bit of a different one. There's 4 lives I say we all live. We all have a public life, a private life, a secret life, and a community life. Community life, really easy example. Who we become when we're around our mates watching football. A lot of men have a much greater version of themselves they become. And then the private life is what your wife ends up with. She becomes and sees the back end of things, right? And often women will see us with the boys versus who we are behind closed doors with them. And they don't get that version of us. And naturally, that's going to build a small portion of contempt and resentment going like, why don't I get that out of you? All this energy. Or you come home fucked and you're like, I haven't got time for you. And you don't pour into me like you do a fucking football game that doesn't cook for you, clean for you, love you, raise your kids. So I think collapsing these 4 lives into one is one of the best things you can do. And it's just a self-auditing process of going, who am I in my public life? How do I show up? Is the private version of me the same as or better than my public version? Because if she sees you showing up as the man with your tie, with your suit, crushing business, committing to the plans and saying you're going to do all this stuff and how good things are, and then when you go home, she very abundantly sees that it's not the case and that's not who you are, that creates a disparity or a discrepancy in their mind. And not even consciously, but subconsciously, that creates a gap. There's no safety there. Like, who do I believe? This version of you or this? And why the hell do you have this other version of you tucked away for everyone else but me?
Yeah.
And then you've got your secret life, which is typically where men's shame and guilt lives. And it's the shit they tuck away that they think is hidden, but in some way, shape, or form bleeds out into the relationship. If we have something we're ashamed of or guilty about or haven't dealt with that's oppressed or hidden, it's not hidden. It's occupying mental RAM that could have been used to do something else instead. Like, by being worried about hiding something, like maybe an addiction to porn or something, a man could not do things that he would have done. He could not love her in a way that he would have loved her, which affects the relationship. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of men think, oh, it's not like I'm doing enough, but it's not necessarily about what you do, but it's about what you don't do. Like, how much more could you and would you be doing if you didn't have this disparity between these 4 lives, or if you weren't worried about shit that you'd have tucked away in the secret life, if you're cheating, if there's infidelity, if you're attracted to all these other women and have an addiction to porn. Like, you're just not there, and she feels that.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest ways to build attraction is to build consistency. I think when you're consistent and she can rely on you, that's the baseline. And then off the top of that, if you're charming and fun and can actually have some, a joke with her and provide variety, 99% of the time, that's enough. She's already attracted to you. Like, she was with you. There was attraction there. And if you can just show up as a better version of what you were, or at least the same, but ideally better than what you were in the beginning, by being more consistent, more of who you are, you've won. She's attracted to you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of techniques and processes you could do right. Obviously, physical health is important. Fucking go to the gym, eat healthy, have energy. Don't be a lazy... I'll be careful what I say, but just don't be lazy. Don't be fat. Be healthy. Look after your body. Have integrity. Do what you say you're going to do. And attraction should at large be taken care of, right?
Well, I believe if you're fit and healthy, right? So you look and feel good, that you're strong, you got backbone, you're tall, healthy. Even if you're short, you can be tall, right? You provide safety and security. You provide wealth. You provide freedom. You provide variety. You're able to understand and hear her. You're already in the top 0.1% of men.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very rare that your partner's going to look elsewhere if all your needs are getting met.
Exactly. I say there is some science to actually back this up, but not unequivocal, rock solid science. But if you meet your woman's core feminine needs of safety, significance, and variety, and you're showing up consistent, she's attracted to you. Like, women are biologically wired, I say, to fall in love with you and devote themselves to you. Like, undeniably, when you meet her core feminine needs, you do that, and everything else is taken care of. You haven't got to worry about reading books on how to build attraction and how to say things in a certain way and how to look at her and do this push-pull bullshit. Like, it's all a game and a tactic, which if you're not on your game all the time, it falls apart. Just be who you are, meet her needs, show up as a fucking man, and attraction is that large, taken care of.
So true. So true. A lot of men say, you said something, what are you not doing in the relationship? A lot of men say this out loud. I'm doing everything. I'm providing, you have such a good life. And we fall into this trap of keeping score. I know for me personally, if Rosie's upset about something that's minor to me, aka the toilet seat or something left around the house, I'll start going in my head, I do this, I do this, I do this. I'll start building this resentment and frustration. And then I'll compare myself to what she's not doing. Oh, the house is a mess, or this isn't done. And I pick myself up on it and I stop myself. But a lot of men play this game of keeping score, and so do our partners. You know, when your wife says, you did that thing 3 years ago? So how does this play into relationships, this idea of these imaginary scoreboards where it's almost like a competition on who's doing what? How does that come into a relationship dynamic?
How does it come about?
Yeah, and like, how do we fix that? Because a lot of us do it. I do it, and I teach this shit.
I think it's human design.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're designed to pick apart and look at comparison. So we've got to actively and intentionally look for the good. Because you think about it, right? The amount of, like, Rosie, your partner, like, she contributes a lot for you to be able to do what you do.
I couldn't do anything without her, but in those moments, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I know I'm being a dick.
I think the first thing is to recognize it's actually not you. It's your body.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what I talk about is there's us and then it's our body. There's our beliefs, behaviors, values, principles. They are what make up who we are, but they aren't who we are. There is us, and then we are made up of our past, our behaviors, and a bunch of other things that are changeable as well. And there's software and there's hardware. Software is learned behavior. Hardware is built-in behavior, like the survival responses, the need to procreate, food. There's certain things that are hardware, and that's one of those things that are hardware. So first off, don't side with it and think that I'm thinking this. Just understand it's actually the human condition. It's like you getting hungry. You shouldn't probably be surprised that you do it, really. It's like, oh, fuck you, I'm doing that human thing again.
Yeah.
Hating my fucking wife that I love for getting annoyed at me about something that I actually agreed to stop fucking doing.
Yeah.
So first off, recognize like you aren't the thought, you're having it. As philosophical as that sounds, it's the reality of it.
It's so powerful though. You're separating yourself from the moment and from what you're doing. And it's not I'm getting upset at her. It's like, that part of me, my hardware is happening. What am I going to do about it?
Yeah, exactly. Have some separation from it. And you're right, actually. It's really powerful. Like awareness is often enough to be able to end separation.
Yeah.
The next thing I would do is I'd condition myself in those moments. So create like a stimulus response to look for what's right. And again, simple, but what you could do is like count 5 things of why you're actually grateful like for her. 10 things if you can do it. Or go for a walk and move the body. Like cortisol is a hormone or an adrenaline that comes as a result of that. Can't continue to flow constantly. Like if we move our body and open things up and breathe different and create different breathing and biological patterns within us, our state changes too. So if we get the shits and close up and then walk around fucking with our back hunched over, annoyed at her, we might hold that state until that night. And then she goes, what's wrong? And we go, nothing. And then she knows something's wrong. And then there's another problem. Instead of just going, fuck you, I'm allowed to think that. I don't want to, but I am. And I know it's not me. I'm not choosing to. What am I grateful for? Why do I love her? How grateful that I've got a wife to complain to me about closing the toilet seat.
Yeah.
A beautiful one of that too.
But what is she doing well as opposed to what is she not?
Yeah.
It's funny because I was frustrated at her last week and I knew I was doing it. I'm like, I thought I was wrong. So I'm really glad you gave me that frame. That's my hardware. It's just a part of who I am, but it's not who I am. And every time I get upset or triggered, I try to work through it. And in this instance, I couldn't work through it. It was minor, like keeping score. So I did a 20-minute breath work session. And at the end of that session, because I was able to slow down and breathe, when you slow down and breathe, you get all the answers you need. I had so much love for her and so much gratitude. And I went from judging her and resenting her to going outside and hugging her and saying, babe, I'm here for you. And that's all it took to make that shift. Now, the reason I share that story is one of the most powerful principles I've ever learned is love is the absence of judgment. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it served me.
There's enough truth to it.
What does that mean? Love is the absence of judgment. In your professional opinion, helping so many people with their relationships, what does love is the absence of judgment mean?
Well, we kind of said earlier, right? Love is a byproduct of meeting needs. Judgment is focusing on what's not being met. And I think if there's the absence of that, you kind of left with the focus of what are we meeting? What have we got? It's shifting your focus to what matters instead of what doesn't. It's putting your intention and attention. Intention and attention are 2 massive things. And wherever they tend to meet and focus for long enough, we will feel. So if we're focused judging, again, that's going to throw us just biologically into a shitty state where we're producing high levels of cortisol or adrenaline. And if our biology is stressed, we're in a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, where attention and attention is focused on something negative, of course you're going to fucking feel good. Tony Robbins himself would feel like shit if he'd done that. When like there's no magical answer to suppress the ability to feel negative emotions whilst doing all the right things to feel them. And so it's about recognizing the state you're in and getting rid of the necessary components required to be able to feel shitty thoughts such as judgment. If you take the conditions away for judgment, we're left usually with some pretty nice stuff, right? It's like you wouldn't be surprised if you put your hand near a fire and got heat. There's all the right conditions there to get burnt. Get far enough away from it or put it out, you're good. There's nothing to even worry about. So if you're worried, if there's judgment, if there's issues, there's conditions there for them.
So remove the conditions.
Remove the conditions. And yeah, I love that. I've never heard that before. Like, love is the absence of judgment. And as true as that is or isn't, there's enough truth to it to go fucking, yes, use it, grab onto it.
I like how what you've said there is if there's enough truth to it, because ultimately everything's perspective.
It's all subjective.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't fully true in itself because context matters, but there's a really beautiful saying that truth is, what is it? What's true is what's most effective in the moment. Something along those lines. Like truth is subjective. Does it work for you? Okay, it's true then. Is it getting you the result that you want? Okay, there's some truth to it. So truth is a process. It's not necessarily fixed. There's certainly universal truths. I think there is, such as this is very true. All women are going to test you at some point. And again, it's to create safety and make sure you're following through on your word and you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
Pain and change, the universal truths, they're always going to be there. But everything else is kind of like opinion and perspective. So find what works. Like find valuable models that produce results way more consistently than not, and fucking run with it. And if you get enough of them, like going, okay, if I'm not in love with her or attracted to her, there's probably some judgment. What am I judging? Okay, what can I replace that with? Don't delude yourself and think, if she's genuinely not showing up and not meeting your needs, no amount of fake gratitude and deluding it and hiding from it is going to fix it. But again, the partial truth. Try that first. If that doesn't work, what do I need to communicate that I'm not communicating? It's another principle that's true. Things need to be communicated. I have to. It's a law.
Yeah.
Is it fully true? No, but it's 99.9% of the way there.
I love that frame. Is it true? Because most of our frustrations and triggers, if you really break them down, who is it? Is it Debbie Ford or somebody else? She wrote an amazing book and she said, whenever you have a negative, disempowering story or belief, my wife's a bitch, she doesn't care, she doesn't appreciate me, etc. Just ask yourself a line of questions. And one of the questions is, how do I absolutely know it's 100% true? And almost always the answer is, I don't. Okay, so what else could be true in this situation? And having the awareness to unpack your negative beliefs that are fucking up your marriage or your business or your life and replacing them with more empowering beliefs, which, by the way, are just words in your head, which, by the way, no one can implant. You choose them. You win the game of life. I want to change tacks a little bit here. You talk about the 3 stages of relationship, right? What are the different stages of relationship and how are they relevant to the listener at home?
Cool. So the 3 stages is the honeymoon phase, which we all go through, the power struggle, which we all go through, and then the honeymoon phase, which very few of us end up arriving at.
The honeymoon phase is the last one or the first one?
Honeymoon phase in the beginning.
Yep.
Sorry, not the honeymoon phase in the end. The end is the mature love phase.
Okay, so honeymoon, power struggle, mature love. I haven't heard that before. I've heard the honeymoon.
I forget the origins of it. I believe it's John Gottman, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, unpack them for us. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, so honeymoon phase, power struggle, and then mature love phase. Most of us live and die in the power struggle phase. So honeymoon is where we first meet, we think we're in love. It's biology, where we've got oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine bathing our body, which feels like love. It's infatuation because we see all the good in them that we don't have that we want. We see compatibility. We see a whole lot of things that just work and our heart's on fire. So we're infatuated. And what happens is once we get so far along, sometimes between only 3 months, but sometimes up to 3 years, we hit this point where this irreversible change or undeniable commitment. Usually marriage, buying a house together, having a kid, it's irreversible change. Something happens that not to us consciously necessarily, sometimes it is the case, but subconsciously our body goes, this person is now unequivocally, undeniably able to impact the quality and safety of my life. And we biologically become interdependent on each other. Our biology actually changes. So this is like a very common thing. The world of science shows how our neurology shifts towards our attachment figure, so our partner. It responds very differently to them. We breathe differently. Our hormone structure changes when they are in the room versus aren't. But doesn't do it to anyone else. It can to other people, but it's very different and unique to our partners. So our body becomes somewhat dependent on each other, like it or not. It's a form of like mild biological codependence. And when we're with them, it's meant to feel really good. But what happens is once we hit the power struggle phase, it just means they're now able to impact my safety. So you now need to follow a set of subconscious rules that we have in order to keep me safe. I follow them, I do them. If you don't, you're jeopardizing my safety. And that's not a conscious thing. It's a subconscious program. It's a hardware. You don't get a choice in this, like it or not. Our body is now scanning the environment in such a way that looks at whether you're creating a threat or not too. And if you are, by accident or not, we respond accordingly. So all of a sudden we go, why am I agitated at my partner? Why am I frustrated? This is where all that unresolved crap comes up from the past. Because who were our original attachment figures?
Parents.
Exactly. And the way that we had to be to get love from them and how we gave love to them is typically how we do it with our partner now. We do it with all our attachment figures since our originals. And the thing is, we're adults now, but we have childhood programming that says, if you don't get love in this way, it means X. So as a kid, if love was conditional from mum, say, you had to be a good boy and you had to act in accordance with X amount of mum's rules for her to actually give you attention, then you would have done that because you're dependent on mum and dad. You would die without them, at least according to your biology and the way your body thinks. So we act like the puppet that we need to get mum's love. And then with enough repetition, we become conditioned to do that. Then it becomes an autonomic, unconscious behavior. And then when we get in a relationship and enter the power struggle phase, attachment theory kicks in. And subconsciously, if we're not getting love from them, or our wife like looks at us in a funny way, judging us over something we did, and turns her head, our subconscious programming, our subconscious mind, separate to us, goes, that's how mum used to look at us when she'd withdraw love because we didn't like abide by her rules and follow the script. So then a program kicks in that says, be the people pleaser, be the needy boy, be X. And so we go grovel for love. And then she goes, what the fuck is this? This is a new behavior. I'm not used to this. And then it creates contention. It creates issues. And that's why like our past shit really can affect us now. A lot of men think, no, it doesn't. The reality is it does. Like we operate 95% of our day unconscious. And what's our unconscious based off? Our past. And there's a saying beautifully said by Tony Robbins. We absolutely act in accordance with who we believe we are, like it or not. So if our subconscious beliefs that love was conditional, I wasn't worthy of love, or I had to do this to get it, or it's dangerous. I used to have this. It was dangerous if a partner didn't follow certain rules because I was manipulated so much as a kid. And any form of judgment or misinterpretation or genuine anxiety, like a partner if she had anxiety and got upset, it was hard for me to go love her passionately and unconditionally because I was like, you shouldn't be anxious. I've done everything. I'm good enough. Love me. This shouldn't be happening. What's going on? There's a threat. So the power struggle phase is where all our shit comes up, or our subconscious programming kicks in, and we start attacking each other and looking at each other as enemies because our nervous system sees each other as that way because we're not acting in accordance with the rules that meant safety as a kid.
Yeah.
And it's that unaware, like lack of awareness, that unconscious process playing out. I see it when I work with couples. They start talking and bickering and it's like, wow, you think you're at threat because of that. Yeah. And when I bring this to their awareness, they often go, fuck yeah, that's what it feels like.
That's what it felt like for most of my relationship up until 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you say it out loud because I thought we were so compatible and then I realized there were so many things that weren't. And I didn't know it was my subconscious or the power struggle phase. I just knew it was fucking hard. But we've come out the other side. There's a lot of people listening right now who are stuck in the power struggle phase and they don't see light at the end of the tunnel. It seems pretty fucking intense. Childhood shit, trauma, unwritten rules, expectations. How does one even begin to navigate getting out of this?
Well, first off, I'd say you've probably got a lot you could say on this because I do believe you've made it out of it into the third and final stage, which I would estimate less than 2% of the population does. Like you were kind enough to invite me into your home and I got to meet your family and I seen the way your woman looked at you. I seen the way she greeted me and was like, I wouldn't say she wanted to make a good impression, but she just was very like respectful. And immediately I thought, wow, like this guy's living and breathing his shit. And so you've made it through something that very few people make through.
Yeah.
Because it is so fucking hard. How do people go from power struggle to mature love phase? Usually it's radical accountability on the man's part, woman's too, but I've seen it's much more easily done when the man fulfills his natural role of leadership and takes accountability and starts showing up, being congruent, being consistent, coming back to those 4 lives and living one life instead of 4 different versions of himself that she can rely on and be safe with. If you can't do that, if you can't be consistent and one version of you're allowed to be different versions and have fun at footy, don't get me wrong, but she needs to see that elsewhere. She deserves that too. There can't be different versions of you that she's getting and seeing. If you can get that in order, you're 80% of the way there because most men are fucking up constantly living different versions of themselves, never giving her the chance to feel safe, to be able to open up and talk about stuff and unpack stuff. Like we need the right conditions to be able to deal with stuff. And if she doesn't feel safe because there's no consistency, you're never going to get her side of the story. She's going to be pissed at you and she won't even know why because her nervous system's being constantly fired off looking at your lack of accountability and lack of safety. And then not only that, like that's present day issues. What about all her past stuff that you need to argue about and have healthy conflict about that allows you to cater to one another or heal stuff or say, I'm always afraid of this because an ex done this to me. And you go, honey, I would never. And she's like, I know, but it just comes up. Cool, I'm aware of that. And that awareness, because she's now said it, because you created the space for her to, allows you to be able to preempt her needs, do things that you otherwise wouldn't have, and cause her nervous system to decondition because the trauma never gets activated. And what happens after a while is it atrophies and a new neural pathway forms, shaping a new belief of the world. And after 4 to 6 months, that trauma that used to be a thing for her just doesn't happen anymore because you've preemptively met her needs in a way that stopped it from happening. She bonds deeper with you and you get that much closer to the mature love phase.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And it might take longer than 4 to 5 months.
Oh,
I think one of the number one things a man can
Yes.
do to have mature love is take that ownership. I've got 2 examples. One was when I was really pissed at Rosie 4 or 5 years ago, and I was complaining to a mentor, and he said, "Shut the fuck up. What are you not doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm paying you all this money. Don't tell me to shut the fuck up." And he's like, "No, what are you not doing?" So I went home, and that was the first time I had what we now call a clearing conversation. And I was like, these are all the things I'm not doing well. This is what I get to take ownership for. And I spent 10 minutes telling her what I know I'm doing wrong in the relationship. Not wrong, but what I could do better. And I said, what do you have to share with me? I want to hear your perspective. And like most women, she's like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, like what am I? No, it's fine. Babe, just tell me what you want. She spends 35 minutes telling me all the shit I'm doing wrong. And in my head, I'm listening and I'm present. In my head, I'm thinking, fuck you. And after 35 minutes, I'm like, babe, is there anything else? She goes, no, that's it. I'm like, thank fuck, right? And
yeah.
I took ownership of all of the stuff she said and I worked on it. Another example is with the trauma, Rosie is very insecure. You've met her. She's beautiful. I think my wife's so beautiful. She doesn't think she's beautiful because of her trauma. And she was cheated on by an ex. The woman that he was sleeping with, that he was cheating on my now wife with, was outside going, get that bitch out of the house. And that stuck with her. So what would happen is every time I would look in the direction of another woman, Rosie's instant subconscious story was he wants to fuck her. 5 hours later, she'd be shitty with me for 5 hours. I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. What's wrong? Nothing. Babe, what's wrong? I saw the way you looked at her. I'm like, babe, who? You know who I'm talking about. No, I fucking don't. And I think it took us like 4 years to work through that trauma. But in reflection, based on what you said, what worked through the trauma was me creating certainty for her, hearing her. When she used to bring it up, I'd get defensive and triggered. I stopped doing that. I took ownership and I really heard her and made her feel safe. And now, yes, sometimes I look at attractive women and you can see she's a bit miffed, but it's not a problem. It all comes back to ownership and radical responsibility. And most men have no idea how to do that.
Yeah.
So getting out of this, what was the frame again? When you're attacking each other, the
Power struggle phase.
power struggle phase, taking ownership and responsibility. There are many other ways we can get out of there, which you share in your book. Talk to me what it looks like when you reach the mature love phase. Paint the picture for a man or a woman on what their marriage or relationship could look like.
Yeah, magic. It's the Hollywood movies fuck it up a lot of the time. They're saying, you know, they live happily ever after at the end of the big storyline. And the reality is no, they argued for ages and years and went through all this shit in the power struggle phase. And then if they're lucky, they made it to happily ever after. And what that looks like is just, you've got someone on your team. I think, like, I've experienced bouts of it for sure. I've helped people get to it and I've seen it a lot and I've studied it. And it's, the only way I can describe it is like you just feel like someone at all points has your back and you have someone that is not only your lover, but your genuine best friend. I'm a big believer in, you know, men always have male best friends. Never fucking go without that. Don't replace male camaraderie and friendship with your female partner. It's its own level and type of friendship, but it becomes that in the third and final mature love phase. You don't have to doubt and worry. You're aware of each other's weaknesses and strengths, and you've learned to blend in with and cater to each other's preemptively in a way that doesn't create fucking constant fires to come up. And then when you still do have conflict, which will always be there, it's a sign of a healthy relationship. Yeah. In fact, John Gottman, again, not even one of the world's #1 relationship expert, stated that he could predict divorce within 5 years with 3% accuracy. And one of the biggest things that he used to tell was whether they had conflict or not. And it was the couples that didn't have conflict that he was able to predict with the divorce.
Yeah, people say it to me all the time. Oh, we never argued. That's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
It means you never discussed anything. It means you didn't actually get to the truth about what's not working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so having healthy conflict is it's enjoyable because you're almost excited on what it means and you can laugh about shit in the midst of a heated debate. I think it's what everyone wants. It's what everyone dreams of a relationship to be, but very seldom is what they actually get. It's the most worthwhile thing is what it is to work towards, and it's worth investing in to figure out how to go from A to B to C, because without it, relationships are fucking a struggle. Like living in the power struggle for 30 years with a partner, or over and over again for every couple of years, and then you break up. Because again, it's when most people live and die in the power struggle phase. It's fucking exhausting. And that's why men end up getting shitty views on women and women shitty views on men. And then they settle at 40 for someone that's safe and okay, and they're fucking miserable and unattracted and with a shit sex life.
Yeah.
It's worth it, is what I can describe it as. Absolutely worth it.
And I think the number one thing is, if you have children involved, maybe you don't deserve respect, you get to earn it. Maybe you don't deserve a great relationship, you get to earn it. I don't believe you deserve those things, they're earned. But your children deserve that. They don't have the same level of emotional intelligence or control as an adult. And to see my daughter watch us have a healthy disagreement and to work through it and hug and make up, not argue, not yell, not raise our voices, to just watching her observe us, that is the greatest gift I can give her. 100%. So if you find this shit hard or difficult, great. It's supposed to be hard. You don't go to the gym and squat 200 kilos on the first day. You build up to those with reps. Do the repetitions and do it not just for your wife, not just for you. Do it for the people that matter, like your children. Yeah. So fucking important. Now, brother, you've flown up to come on this podcast. We're gonna have to do a part 2. Before we tie up today, what is the number one, and we'll find out where people can find you. What is the number one sort of piece of advice you'd give somebody who's listened this far to really take this and hone it at home and start making moves to have the relationship go into mature love and have the relationship they want?
Good question. The number one thing I would say is to remember that until you're convinced, she won't be. It's, if you want her to believe something is true about you, then convince yourself it's true. And you can only do that through reps and intensity. And it kind of, in a way, brings me back to the 4 lives thing. Look, audit your life, like audit you. Like, would you respect you if you were on the receiving end of your love and efforts for 6 to 12 months? If she began to treat you the way you treated her, would you actually respect yourself? Would you actually be turned on by you? Would you find yourself attractive? Ask yourself that. And if you can genuinely do that, you'll 9 times out of 10 say, yeah, fuck, it's me. It's in fact, I'll almost say it almost always is you. Look at you, start with you, get your 4 lives in order, become one congruent, consistent motherfucker who believes they are who they say they are, and then she will. And if you can do that, everything else becomes exponentially easier. You just have that short window of time before she catches up or reality catches up with you. And you might not be at the mature love phase yet, but you'll be at a hell of a lot better place. You'll be happy, you'll be good, you'll predominantly be right. And things just compound from there.
You're so powerful. There's no problem in my life I have not created or allowed. Ownership.
100%.
When is your book launching?
It was meant to be the end of the last month, but I had my biggest month in business. I had this training, I had a bunch of other things. So I've backdated a month, end of this month.
Okay, so we're recording this August 2025. So guys, what we'll do is we'll drop a link down below for Clayton's book or the pre-order. Where can people find you?
Instagram mainly, Clayton Harrop. Cool. YouTube videos are coming soon, which will be Clayton Harrop as well.
Nice, amazing. So we'll drop all those links down below. Guys, if you got any value out of this, please, please, please share it with your wife, your sister, your mother. If you know anyone going through relationship issues, if your partner could benefit from this, please share it far and wide. Clayton, thank you so much, or Clay, thank you so much for being here, brother. Appreciate you. Man.
Thanks for having me.
We'll get you back on soon.
I'd love to, brother. Thank you so much for having me. Very grateful.
If you want to actually take this framework that I shared and apply it to your life, it's part of our Empowered Man Armory and our app that we've spent almost 250 grand on. If you want access to a powerful system where you can use this reframe system I just shared with you every single day, then find me on Instagram at Tony Empowered Man. TonyEmpoweredMan. I'll put the link down below as well. Send me a DM saying reframe, and I'll give you this exact framework as well as early access to the Empowered Man app when it launches.